think my hips are too big. I got these big Berthan hips.
This chair.
And the hand, like the armrests or whatever, are too close together. All right. What's going on, you beautiful people? Welcome to Transcend Fitness Podcast, Two Coaches.
Two coaches.
This is going to be a quick little podcast. We're going to do this once a week. A little 30-minute conversation about just everything from what's going on in the fitness industry, but mostly about all things food, fitness, and focus, and little stuff that we've seen that's worked with our members that's really helped, that might help you as well. So we got a great show for you today. Let's jump right into it.
We need like a good solid tune.
Why are you so good at that, though?
That's not. I've been.
Oh yes. Oh, what's that dude's name from King of the Hill? That plays the saxophone.
I have no idea.
Oh come on, Chuck Mangione.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna say I used to watch King of the Hill all the time too.
Yeah, Chuck Mangione was an absolute badass. All right, guys, so welcome. Welcome to today's topic. We're going to be talking about how to stay focused when the whole world is on fire, which actually might be kind of prevalent for a lot of people out there today because the whole world is kind of on fire, of course, there's something going on right now that is a widespread. We can't actually talk about. I looked it up. We can't say certain words. We get demonetized on YouTube if we say.
Be on YouTube?
Yeah, man. We're going to be on YouTube. By the way, this is the pilot episode for all of you guys that are just tuning in for the first time. So are we. This is the very first one. But so we're learning a lot about podcasting. We've never done anything like this before. But it's but I was looking up some tips and tricks, and they were like, don't do this because you'll immediately like get pushed down. So there's something going on in the world right now. It's getting really popular. A lot of people are taking part in it, especially here in San Antonio right now. And it's causing a lot of people to come out of their routines.
The participation is high.
It's all the rage right now. But it doesn't have to even be that. It can be sometimes people fall off the wagon because of their family life, because of their career, because of whatever, finances. There's all kinds of stuff that can throw a wrench into people's routine and keep them from their goals. So we're gonna talk a little bit about today about how to stay on track when all that stuff is blowing up in your face.
Staying focused.
Yeah. So like one of our members, we do focus calls with our members here in the first 6 weeks that they're with us, because we want people to feel real supported, and we want people to feel like they are gonna be able to stay on track. And just the fact that you have somebody to talk to in a week, and that you're gonna be not reporting into, but you're gonna have to talk about how the last week went. That in and of itself will change some behavior. But I was talking to one of our members, and she was just like, man, it's real hard. She's self quarantining right now. Oh my God! Don't bleep, Trevor, bleep that out. Son of a gun, man.
That's one of those things.
She's staying in her house for a prolonged amount of time.
You screwed it.
Oh man, I screwed it all up.
I was over here like repeating them in my head, like, don't say those words, Michael. Dude, if you say those words,
YouTube, I swear to God, that is so difficult to do. You're putting a blanket over our heads.
It's one of those things where you can that's one of those things where you can get like super pissed off about, where you're just like, this is ruining everything. We're never gonna get this podcast off the ground because of YouTube. For real, the whole time, look, my hands are sweaty. Like teary-eyed. I'm like, don't say it. And then as soon as you started saying it, I was like, that's one of the things.
That's one of the words. I couldn't believe it. It was like Operation when you touch the sides.
That made me cry.
Oh man. Okay. So anyway, we have one of
she's
our.
Staying in.
She's
staying in.
She's staying at home, and it's for a long time. And so we do these recordings, and she's doing the recordings, and she's been crushing it. She's been really on task. But she was on task for 3 weeks, and then on the 4th week she started to waver. Yeah. And in the call we were like, all right,
I know who this is?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the call we were like, what's going on? Like, why? What is why do you think you're starting to slip? Her words. And she was like, well, sometimes it's just really easy. it's really easy to turn you off. It's really easy to just be like, boop, and then you're not on the screen anymore.
Oh, that makes me kind of look. I get it because I do that to people, but I don't know them.
That's
No.
why I failed at P90X. I was like, Tony was like, come on, you can do it. I was like, nah, man.
See, and I'm the opposite because like there were times I did when I did Sean T's Insanity.
Yeah.
There were times when I was like Sean will be upset.
I can't let Sean
I'm
down.
serious,
Yeah.
but like playing into it so heavily that I was like, I can't let him down.
Yeah. Would you say that
Or-
was that like a mental trick you did?
Yeah, but I didn't know that's what it was because I'd be doing like the videos,
Right.
and I'd be like, oh, what is her name? There was a lady that stood right next to him.
Okay.
I hated her. I'm pretty sure I hated her. Like whatever my version of hate was at
Right.
that time in my life.
Right.
I was like, we'd be doing the knees, and I'd be like, she's so stupid. Look how fast she's going. But it completely the opposite. I'm serious. I remember
my
being
God.
like, I was laying there in bed, like
Michael, that's wild.
Sean would be upset. It's a recovery day, so like maybe I could do my own thing and kind of call it a recovery day. But I said I would do the 30 days, so but I was like,
I feel like that's a pretty good representation of how you and I are different in our makeup. I was watching, I think his name is Tony. I forget the guy. Is that the
Tony
P90X? Yeah. Okay. So I was like,
he goes, there's that video. There's the one at the end of his one of his videos. I never did P90X, but I had it, and I remember I was about that insanity life.
yeah. But you had it in the back pocket if you
I
needed
had it, and a lot of people were doing it in the dorms and stuff that
Yeah.
I was at. But I remember
I was in college too when I did mine.
I remember people being like, telling me like he's pretty intense, and then I watched like their infomercial,
Yeah.
and he's doing like bench press or something crazy. He
Yeah.
comes up and he's all sweaty, he's all shredded up. He's
Yeah.
like, that was pleasurable.
What do you think of that?
I've said that during workouts. I'm like, that was pleasurable, but like that's what it's from is that goofball just like
yeah. Now, man, I never got into that like particular mentality. Like when there was one time I'll never forget. There was the last time I did P90X. He was it's a DVD and you put it in and you can pause it. Well, I got a phone call and I was in the middle of the workout and it was an important phone call. So I paused it and I went and I did my call. And then when I came back, I started it up again and I had already cooled down. I wasn't even sweating anymore. And then Tony gets on there and he's like, "Wow, that was really great work you just did." And I was like, "You don't know what the hell you're talking about, Tony." And I was like, "You can't see me." And I turned him off and I never turned him back on.
I don't know if that's from like it's there's a lot of things I could pull it from to be like it's from my father, it's from my growing up.
Talking about the mentality that you had
Yeah.
with the tapes.
You know what? I think a big part of it was probably karate. Growing up.
How? Explain. I never did karate.
My dad put me in karate when I was like 5. Now it wasn't like my dad put me in karate when I was 5. No, it was like my dad put me in karate when I was 5.
he's like, "Guess where you're going to be
You're
today?"
going to be in karate, and I was like, "Yeah." When do we break boards? But like I think that has a big role to play, and I always try to pretend like I've read all of these books, or I don't try to pretend, but like I have read a lot of books too.
Sure.
But like I always try to
I
attribute.
swear to God, I read.
I promise I know how to read. I think I try to attribute it to all of that, but like it really, I think growing up like that, and like purposefully applying those things without knowing that I was being purposeful, like
Right.
without knowing that I was being mindful, even at a young age, like growing up through elementary, middle school, and high school with that mentality of not all the time, because I could definitely, like you're talking about, I could definitely turn it off.
Right.
I could definitely turn it off, but I would be like, you have to do this. Like I have to be at the school at this time. I have to run. But I don't think I knew why. I just did it because I was like, I have this engagement and I have to be there for it. And I think karate might have taught me that.
Well, that's
I can
go,
see-
oh
I
my
can see
God,
how-
what a freaking perfect segue. Going back to the member, that's exactly what we talked about. Is you know, she was doing we have live streams that we do for the workouts and then we do recordings, right?
Yeah.
And so she was doing all the recordings. And I was like, "Hey, why don't you move over to the live streams?" And she's like, "Well, it's kind of early. It's kind of," and I was like, "Look, knowing that somebody's going to be expecting to see you at a certain time at a certain place does something to your brain. Try it for a week. See if you put it on your calendar, whatever you got to do. Try it for a week and see how you feel. Put that into your routine and let's see how consistent you are."
Yeah.
we had that conversation on Tuesday. On Wednesday until like now, this is weeks ago, until now, she has been on there every single morning, and she has been crushing it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you start doing something in your day that's good for you, it starts to bleed into the other aspects of your day. So now her nutrition has been better. Now she's been sleeping better. She's been drinking more water. She's been doing all the little things that she's known all along that she needs to do. And it was just from one schedule change, from a freaking routine. So that's, you know.
You know what? That's probably a big part of it is like structure-wise, growing up, doing karate, doing martial arts, doing these things, and then playing like team sports and stuff. And it wasn't we went to a small school, so like it wasn't by any means that it was just like star athlete Michael Rivera. Like,
oh my God, did you just humble brag?
but we were a small school, dude. So like I could do a lot of things.
I can't believe you humble brag to like
a lot of
200 people.
Shut up.
All the 200 people listening to this now.
I had like
Sorry, I got
like no, but I mean it was. I think about it like I feel like a lot of people probably missed out.
Yeah.
Being in like big schools because I couldn't imagine one of my coaches being like, no, you can't do that. You can't go march in the band right now because you have to be in here.
Oh wow.
For this game. If I came from the school I grew up into a place like that, I'd be like, get out of my face. Are you talking? But you like depending on how you grow up, there's a lot of talk too about like the programs and stuff in your brain and
right.
And I've delved into some of those lately over the last few years.
Are you talking about like the psychology, like how we're programmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the mindset behind it.
Yeah.
And like just like the ability to just do something and maybe you're not thinking about it. You don't know why you did it, but you did it. And everybody has that ability, I think. I think everybody does. I think when it's fostered, like nobody was sitting there like, Michael, you're going to make great decisions. Because I haven't.
Right.
I haven't always done like the best or made the best, even in my own fitness.
Well, the subconscious,
And
like
I've turned off the workout. Heck yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, absolutely.
But it seems so difficult, but I think it's variable. I think it's very individualized for as far as like being focused.
Right.
Which is hard to be like, this is what you need to do. Here's the rules. But there are basics.
Yeah, well,
there's basics.
You touched on it beautifully, man. Like the power that the subconscious has, what goes on behind the scenes is so crazy, and people don't give it enough respect. Like people and I know because I was like this for a really, really long time. I was like, here's the nutrition plan. Here's how the science breaks down. This is what a macro is. Go do it. Go do it. And they'd be like, and they just go nuts. And they would last for 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they'd fall off the wagon. And I was like, how the hell? Why? Why are people stopping? They got results. They actually improved, and now they're off the wagon again. Why? And it wasn't until I started reading. and
we both know how to read.
I'm 30 years old. I'm 31 years old now. I probably started reading like better more often when I was like 30.
I think I was watching a YouTube video one time and it was saying that like I'm reading and studying now more than I ever have in my entire life.
Oh God!
I was like, hey, that's like what I'm doing.
I read more books in the second half of my 30s. I read more books than I did my entire high school and
second half of your 30s.
And the second half of my 30th year of life.
The second half of
my second half of 30 years.
How old are you? I was like,
you freaking vampire!
My brain was like, wait a minute.
I've known this guy for a long time.
My
I thought.
Yeah, there you go. That's how. Stay focused.
Yeah. So when I started reading about psychology and everything that goes in and factors into our behavior, it's almost unfair how difficult it's going to be to get anywhere. Whatever your success is, whether that be in fitness, whether it be in business, whatever. It's so unfair if you don't also understand and work towards getting your subconscious in line. That you can use the front side of our brain to do a lot. You can kind of guide it. You can kind of muscle things out, willpower things out for a little while. But our little chimpanzee brain in the background is just relentless. It's always good, and all it takes is one slip. It takes something bad going on at work. It takes a why I almost said it again. It takes like what's going on right now to knock people out, and all of a sudden you lose all that willpower, you lose all that leverage.
There's so many things. So, like you want people to be like, you want people to listen to you and be able to adhere to like good habit ideals and like traits, and like you want them to not associate you in particular, but be able to come to someone, like be a confident for somebody in that realm as a trainer and like as a coach and stuff, right?
Right.
So like I think there's a lot that goes into it, and there are basics, but there's just so, and I'm guilty of it myself. There's so much stuff. There's so many things out there.
What are you talking about?
Like there's just, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write down the basics, and you stick to, and then you're like, next thing you know,
I'm with you.
You're like, tubing down the river, or like
Drinking a White Claw. Hey, White Claw.
Smashing a claw. There's no. I saw a meme the other day that said there's they were like, you're under arrest for public like drinking, and he was like, whoa. He goes, there's no law when you're drinking the claw. I've never had them, but
there was I love those memes. Trey, how you doing, buddy? We love you, baby. He's owner or the founder of co-founder of Warrior Fitness, who's some good friends of ours. But he posts up he's a Marine, like military, hardcore military guy. He posts up these memes about these dudes who drink White Claw. Have you seen them?
No.
Oh, they're freaking fantastic.
I almost thought I thought I saw him on the trails. I was biking. I thought I saw him on the trails yesterday.
Oh, really?
Or the day before, sometime this week. But I kid you not, like
it looked exactly like him.
His kid,
yeah,
like on the bike, helmet. The only thing that gave it away, once the guy got close enough, I realized that the kid had training wheels.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, that boy ain't got
that boy hadn't had training wheels.
Do you remember him being like here with his bike?
Yeah, man, that boy hadn't had training wheels since he was like 2 years old or something. They're awesome. But anyway, what's going on, guys? All of our Warrior Fitness people. Oh, and Marco had a baby recently, which is fun.
Congrats.
Yeah. So like with,
but what I was saying is like there's so many things. There's a lot of stuff, and then those things, things compile. They get bigger. There's a lot of easy routines that you can practice and things to build an essence of a routine. Like there's a lot of different things that you can try to go about and do, but you have to find out what works for you, or you'll be like Tony Horton, get out my face today.
Right.
Or the other side, like I was doing, and I didn't do it all the time. I know for sure there was days when I did that, but majority of the time, I don't think I was trying very hard to be like, okay, Sean, let's do this.
Right.
I think it was like kind of programmed in from stuff I had learned and like practices that continued on. But like being able to like put it into all different areas of life and not just karate or not just fitness, I think is what it was. Because my parents were in karate too. And they were for a long time. Right. At the end, it was just me and my dad. But like my parents were in there. My brother was in there for a little while.
Your mom took karate?
My mom was almost a black belt, dude.
Are you? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I like to keep track of a list of people who could just whoop me. And I didn't know your mom belonged on that list. How dare you? Not tell me that. I didn't know that.
It's not, I'm thinking, I think I'm kind of just thinking about it right now too. Like I've probably thought about this before, but like thinking about it right now, like on the podcast, like trying to figure out what we can talk about, how to stay focused on the pod. Like I'm thinking about it, like they were both in it. They were both very much like, we have to go. And then my dad took over the class and he was like, I have to go teach this class. And they're like crazy healthy people. They're like super fit. We all like, ate bad and had weight issues. But like they were kicking butt, man. Right. They were, cutting weight. There was never like a diet put on it. It was just kind of like, we got to eat a little healthier because we're doing this stuff. And I saw that, I think.
Well, that's so.
I think to the best of their ability, they were leading by example.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking about, obviously I know that about my parents, but like thinking about what we're talking about now and implementing like why I told Sean T, like, I'll be there, bro. I'll see you in the morning. It's just being able to put those little things together so that they compound into these ideas. Cause I definitely feel sometimes like they're not as heavy or as strong.
Yeah, man. Well, it's interesting because it sounds like they found a good reason. They found a good reason to do, make good choices. They found a good reason to make good choices. Yeah. And then they kind of doubled down on that. Your dad became an instructor, right? And that gave more incentive. There was a more structure around making those good decisions again.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got to eat healthier because we're doing these other things, and that's what it's all about.
Sometimes I think like I can't remember. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I
no,
can't-
go.
I was thinking like because you were saying about my dad, and I was like, yeah, he started teaching, and I was trying to remember why he started teaching. I can't remember if it was because we were just like really good friends with the people, like the instructor,
Okay,
as we grew, like we knew the kids.
like
we
you
all
just kind
hung-
of
we
fell
all-
into it.
or if somebody was like, hey, you need to do this, because he was good. He was a good teacher.
Right,
It was natural. It came natural. He liked working with people, man. He's a people person. And I think, like, whatever the reason was, it was good for all of us.
Could he beat people up?
Yeah.
Was he good? I know that's not what karate's about. I know.
He hit
it's not-
real hard.
Yeah. My dad.
And like as I can remember,
my dad
as
hits
like
hard too.
your dad
He's
looks
freaking
your
fast
dad
as
looks like he would hit hard.
He's also on my list of people that I wouldn't want to fight.
Yeah. Those are the ones that you're like you post up. You're like, all right, let's do this, and you see that he's on the other side. You're like, nah. You go to the other side.
Yeah,
you're
we
like,
did-
I'm against you guys.
We did Krav Maga for a while, and they would always pair us up because we wanted something like we're like, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna learn how to defend ourselves, we're gonna make it as real as possible without sacrificing safety. And man, he's
I think
so
I'll-
freaking fast. I didn't like it. I'd be like, yeah, and I'd throw a punch, and it wouldn't hit anything. I was like, didn't like that. I didn't like that. I swung real hard, and then you moved. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, I got you. I was like, did you miss?
No, I aimed for exactly where he was, and then I started aiming for where I thought he was gonna be.
Alas, they were gone.
Yeah, and then both were wrong. But like getting back to your story with your family, like when you, and we see this all the time, man, with our people, they become absolute like mental giants when they want something really, really bad. When they have a really good reason for wanting something, they all of a sudden just start manifesting all these really cool habits and things that they've never done before. They didn't learn that from anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can take those habits and refine them. You can make them better. There's an awesome book. It's called Take the Stairs. It's by Trevor. Look up look up who wrote that.
Trevor, look up the stairs.
Don't look. Rory Vaden wrote. He wrote this book. It's called Take the Stairs. It's about making good decisions on the short term so you could have an easier time on the long run. But he talks about discipline in there, and he says in his firm he works with people, mostly salesmen. He says in his firm, people come to him. They're like all the time, how do I be more disciplined? How do I improve? Like, what techniques can I use to be more disciplined? And he tells them that's not the issue. Discipline. If you get somebody who clicks, the discipline will just automatically start to manifest, and then you could take those and kind of refine them. But what's lacking in the forefront, what's preventing you from clicking, is a vision. You can't see yet where you want to go and where you want to be. And so because you lack that vision, and because your vision isn't vivid enough, you're not willing to make the sacrifices in the short term that will get you to where you want to go, because it's not real to you yet.
Yeah.
All the latte drinking ladies, they call it manifestation. Is that what it
the
is?
Latte drinking ladies. I was like, what are you saying?
If you drink lattes,
had-
I don't mean
You're stupid. I was sitting. I was like, yes, yes, this is so good.
Well-
and then I was like,
What the hell are you talking
I
about? Whatever the choice soy.
know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know
I think they call it manifestation.
But they don't call. Everybody calls it that. That's like
only them.
You'll only hear this word at a Starbucks.
But it's
So hey, Starbucks.
It's like an ethereal. Hey, Starbucks, if
Hey,
you're listening,
Starbucks.
if you want to come on the show or throw us a sponsorship.
No, I know what you're saying though. That I have friends that would, I guess, fall into that category of like latte drinking ladies.
Yeah,
but you're right. That's and I know that word. But when I think about where I've heard it, it's probably from them. But it's applicable.
Absolutely. Well, so from a manifestation, it's if you don't know what manifestation is, it's this idea. It's this a very ethereal idea that if you put these thoughts out into the universe, that the universe will reciprocate. It'll make that thing become real. And there's success with it. People think about it and they're like, oh, if I just think about it hard enough, right?
Yeah.
But and so they believe that they're putting this energy out into the universe and that's being reciprocated and that's what's bringing them the stuff. But there's actually some behavioral psychology to back this up. And what they're really doing when they're doing these manifestation exercises, when they're doing this thinking, what they're really doing is establishing a vision. Yeah. And it's like when have you ever had a dream that you were Neo? Have you ever had a dream you were so sure was real? Oh, but our brains, the way that they developed and the way that they've evolved, they think in images, they think in pictures.
Oh yeah.
And so when you manifest, when you go through these exercises, what you're really doing is you're telling your brain, hey, this is the vision that I want to see. This is where I want my life to be. This is the house that I want to live in. This is the body that I want, whatever the goal is. Yeah. And when the brain sees that image vividly, like wildly in great, crazy detail, then your mind will automatically start moving and doing things to get to that end. It's really, really crazy, but that's how you master the subconscious. You start to force your brain to look every single day at where you want to go, and then all of a sudden these knobs start to turn, and then eventually the behavior changes, and then the behavior becomes habits, and then you start to get into the routine, and then all of a sudden you extrapolate that out over the course of a couple years, and you have a wildly successful person. It's crazy.
I think. I was thinking, it's like two, like the two different sides of your brain, like your personality. Like half of me was like, yes, yes, like, and the other half was like, man, this is super deep. This is so deep.
Sorry, I don't mean to get
so meta.
I don't mean to get all behavior psychology, but
But
it's a big thing. It's a real thing.
So like thinking about it, I think not in a strange way, but like honestly, like when I think about like the steps and the pieces, no, I don't always turn on that attitude. Yes, I turn it on a lot more than often, more often than not.
Right.
And yes, I turn it on probably a lot more than a lot of people do. But there's people who turn it on way more than I do. I think realizing that like some of those things are these wherever they originate from, right? Like mine was American karate.
Right.
Mario Punakoshi and like 500 AD, like
I was about to invite him on the show.
No, he's no longer here. He's no longer with us. I never met him. But like, but like for real, like I like that in itself. Being a little kid, being like 5, 6, 7. By the time I was like 10 or maybe I was already we were taking tests on it. This is like This is like an extracurricular thing.
Yeah.
In the like the kid from the United States, like. It's cool because you're learning about other cultures who do this as part of that's part of their culture. Like everybody does it, everybody across the board, and like that's what we were studying. So I think obviously it's really powerful. Like you're talking about manifestation, you're talking about it's all relative to being able to build the life you want. Like not for real, like not to get crazy deep, but like it's a lot to think about and it can be overwhelming. And it's so easy, I think, to just be like, nah, it's too much for me.
Nah, you gonna do that.
That's too much for me.
Well, and that's the thing is how do you, as a coach, like how do you try to guide somebody to that? How do you try to steer them into this mental shift? Because that's what it takes. And like our topic today, like what we're talking about right now, how do you keep people hot when things are falling apart? Yeah. They have to be unshakable people, or the people who have a really clear target that they're trying to hit.
Yeah. And I think there's I think small goals are underestimated.
What do you mean?
Or like underappreciated, like marginal goals, small goals. I think it's always like I'm gonna lose this much weight, or I'm gonna read this many books, or run this many miles this year, and like or whatever the case may. I'm gonna learn how to cook. Like whatever the goal is, it doesn't matter what aspect of life you're talking about. But if it's progressive and forward, like it's probably gonna take. You're probably gonna suck at it, or you're probably gonna fail at it at some point.
How do you eat an elephant kind of thing?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Yeah. So, but it's all the cliches. All the cliches are good. I think all the cliches.
The idioms.
Yes, dude. Like not, I mean, I used to say fake it till you make it all the time, but I think even that's applicable. Like you have to place that in to the right place, fake it for that moment, and then like be able to turn
Right.
into a different path of like,
Well,
all right, this sucks. My dog died, like whatever the heck it is. And now I've got to, if you're going to be sad, or if you're going to fall off the wagon, or if you're not going to learn how to cook right now, or if you're just like, I don't want to do that because
Right.
whatever, stubbornness it is. But like, if there's something you want, you have to be able to visualize it.
Yeah. When you talk about something really cool about breaking down a big goal. Like if you want to read 52 books in a year, right? Or 50 books in a year or whatever. That's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to lose 45 pounds, that's a life-changing, altering thing. What do you recommend to people who have a big goal like that? How should they break that down? Like what do you tell your people?
It's purpose. You were talking about the Matrix earlier. It's purpose that drives us, that guides us. Remember that part?
I love that part.
With Agent
It is
Smith?
it's so bad.
Purpose, Mr. Anderson.
It's so crazy.
But I I think for a long time I always jumped up and down with my own like weight and diet and nutrition and like all the pieces of health and fitness. But I wasn't like even when I was in college, I was studying music, and then I was doing martial arts still on the side,
Right.
and I was doing fitness stuff, I power lifted with some people in the
You've
college.
always been doing such crazy stuff.
And like a wild
So
routine.
cool.
Yeah, but like throwing yourself into some of those things is good, and being able to reference them for your life is
Right.
good. But I think like being able to teach others, so slowly going through that lifestyle, and then eventually being like, you know what, I think I want to try this training. Like I think I want to try to be a trainer or a coach. I think I could have done a few number of things, or I still could do a number of things that deal with people, and I'd be happy, like content,
Right.
and like having a good time, like training with others, and like or whatever it is, playing with like for a while I remember I wanted to be like a cruise director.
What? You never told me about
Yeah,
that.
dude, that guy's it's just like a party the whole time, and then like the second cruise I've ever been on, there's always like a family thing. My parents love to go on them.
Yeah.
But like the second one, I was like, that's exhausting. That looks so
Yeah.
exhausting.
We went on a cruise for a honeymoon, and we got to meet the cruise director. And that dude had a ton of energy.
Yeah.
And you could just tell, though.
And they
that
go like
was- that-
week after week after
Yeah,
week.
it was absolutely a switch that he would turn on. He was,
Yeah.
I mean, he was he was a great guy. He was real inviting, real fun, as you would need to be as a cruise director. But you could tell, like I saw it in his eyes.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing as a coach.
So I think telling people too, like it has to be variable. So like take that grand scale of like different types of people that I like to work with, or whatever job I could have ended up in. Like in training, it's still so variable. Like some people need like, hey, like shut up and do it.
Right.
And I have to pull that from other things that I've learned how to shut up and do it for myself.
Right.
Otherwise it's fake, right? Otherwise I'm like, oh, shut up and do it, or don't, whatever. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? But like if somebody needs that, you got to be able to pull that on. I think telling other people is different because diets are good, workout plans are good,
Right.
And they're very important.
They're useful.
They're
Yeah, they
useful.
have their
They're
uses.
tools.
Bingo.
They're tools. Yeah. And if you can learn some of the tools of the trade in whatever respective field you're trying to get success in, like you'll find some progress. Like you'll find some good effort. And if you get to a tool that you're like, I don't know how to use that, and I guess this is where it ends. Like find somebody who knows how to do it. That's like when I was in karate and like doing all those things. Like
Yeah.
and you might get there and you might find that they're not the expert. Like they're just there. Like they like that too.
We've come across a lot of that in the industry, man. Where people come to coaches and they're like, "All right, show me how to do this." And I'm guilty of this as well. I'm like, "Oh well, you want to go compete in a bodybuilding show? Well, let me show you how to." I don't know a damn thing about bodybuilding. You want to show me? I can show you how to deadlift really, really well, and I can point you in the direction of what to eat. I'm not going to get you ready for a Mr. Olympian.
No.
That's not my field, and it doesn't need to be. That's never been a goal of mine.
Yeah. And if you were going to be able to help people in that, and something that you felt like, all right, I want to be able to do this, you would have to learn how to do that.
Right. Well, but
It's not impossible, and then you could spend time and get tenure and learn, and then eventually people would come to you for all these bodybuilding things.
Sure,
But what's the difference between that and like anything else? I guess
exactly, and that's just it. You hit the nail on the head with you would have to want to go and do it.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the very first step. And I have no desire. Just like if when somebody walks in here, not everybody who walks into this gym wants a six pack. Some people are just trying to get off their damn blood pressure medication.
I think like some people probably don't even know. They're just like, here I am now. Here I
Yeah,
am.
my doctor told me I had to lose weight, and so here I
yeah.
am. And they have no aspirations beyond that, and that's okay. You don't have to have these grandiose goals at the very beginning. You just have to want to do something better. When whatever that spark is, let that grow until it's a fire.
I think all in all, like for what we're talking about too, basics. Like go back to the basics.
Right.
Like the stuff I was talking about in karate, like all the stuff I studied. Was it prevalent? Like, did I need it for anything in particular? No, but it was good. I needed to know the basics. I needed to know what it makes it what it is, so that I can be good at it, right? So I can learn it because it was something I was interested in. So like, I think if we're talking about focused, food, fitness, and focus, like
Right.
our triple F, like our things that we're focused on, our pillars that we want to help members with, like focused. Then you trickle into like, well, what makes up that focus for that fitness?
Right.
And I think like diets are an interesting topic.
Yeah. Actually, that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Yes.
Yeah, we're when we well, shit. So let's give the beautiful people a couple of things to kind of take away from this. Like when
We've gone over in time.
have we really? Oh my God. Oh wow, time passes so fast with you, man. It's
Shoulda.
it's just one one dreamy minute to me.
Oh my God.
So when
Thank
if that's you, like if you're crushing it right now, if you're out there and you're just you're getting mad quarantine ripped and you got veins popping out of your forearms because you've been absolutely crushing it during this time. I said it again. Well, bleep that out. Okay. If
you just went right by it. I was just like,
I looked up and you're shaking your head and I was like, oh, I did something wrong. But no, if you're absolutely just crushing it right now, then of course stay the course. But if you need any help, let us know. But if you're struggling right now, if you're sitting there like I was during the first week of our lockdown here in San Antonio, I was literally I had an out of body experience. I was laying on my couch and there was wrappers on the floor. There was 7 wrappers on the floor, and there was 3 more Starburst on my tummy, and I was just sitting there like a pompous king, just like yeah, and I was just eating them up, and I was like, what? And then by the last Starburst, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Are you kidding me right now? It's been a week.
I remember when you told me that. I was like, same.
Dude, it was a big eye opener for me how easy it is to fall off the wagon. So if that's you, right? If that's where you're at right now and you're really struggling, you want something but you don't feel like you can get there, then the first thing that we recommend you do is think about what that looks like. Don't write it down. Don't just write it into words. Our brains don't work like that. Think about what it looks like. Draw a picture. Put a board together. Our brain works in visuals, so put that down first. Once you have that, do what Michael was talking about and figure out what are the little tiny micro steps you got to take. What are the little goals you got to do that will get you towards that ultimate vision. If you do just those 2 things and nothing else, your mind will automatically start moving you towards better habits and better practices that will get you towards that goal. Then you can refine them.
Yeah.
Then you I worked out for 30 minutes a day and it was, what'd you do? Oh, I walked and I played with my kids. I ran around in the backyard with my kids.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, you only did that for 30 minutes? Is that all the time you have? Yeah, that's all the time I have. All right, sweet. Check it out. You can actually, in 30 minutes, you can do this, this, and this, and that'll make it way, way better. Then you can refine those skills. But the fact that you moved for 30 minutes is what truly matters.
Yeah. I think you gotta, you just gotta stop for a second and start doing some of those things that you want to do, but you're not doing all the time. And
right.
take notice of them and start doing them more regularly and see if maybe it sets a fire or gets things going in the right, or gets the cogs turning, like you were saying. Like,
yeah, and I don't know.
Stop pretending like you're eventually gonna get to it. That's what I do. I do that a lot. I do that all the time.
I do that all the time too, man. Well, and the other thing is, and this is actually something from one of the focus calls. Excuse me. This is one of the things from the focus calls that I had just this past week with one of our members, and it's just remember that you can do not remember know that you can do this.
Yeah.
This isn't beyond your grasp.
Yeah.
Successful people aren't these mystical little unicorn creatures that just were born like that. This is something that every single person is capable of. And so if you're out there right now and you're unsure, you're questioning yourself, and you're just like, oh man, I was on it, I did so good, I just fell off. Maybe it's not for me. Whatever that goal is, fitness or otherwise, you can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody can. It's just, are you willing to take the steps necessary and extrapolate those steps over a long enough period of time to get where you want to go?
I think for people listening to, like, go at it next week and, like, you know, maybe try to visualize some things for yourself, whatever the heck it is, or, you know, and figure out those basic steps or whatever, and then, you know, go from there. But like, I feel like if you can center it down into things that you are trying to either obtain or whatever the heck it is, right? If you can take a second and do it for no other reason but just because, like you know what? It's hard. I'm trying to think of like the best words. I'm trying to think like the best words to use, but like without putting it too eloquently. Like, it's like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
What am I doing? And whether a lot of times the majority of people's thoughts as far as like their physical stuff goes is health, fitness, weight, you know, getting stronger, whatever the heck it is. But it's all relative, and like if you can follow some of those things, you'll be able to hit more successful pillars in your life, whether it's freaking your relationships or
right.
fitness or whatever, your home life.
That's badass, man.
It's gonna be interesting. I promise we won't always like preach at you.
Nah,
We're talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
I think we're talking to our, like, I feel like I'm sitting here like talking and I'm like, yeah, Michael, maybe you should.
Coaches are the worst, man. Coaches are the worst violators of not practicing what they preach. But I mean, well, you're a fine example of what happens when you do. Like when the plan that you've been on, you've been absolutely freaking crushing it. For anybody who doesn't know Coach Michael, he's been absolutely crushing it for like, I don't know, 80 days now, something like that. It's been
you always add days. We're done in August. It's like a 75-day challenge.
Yeah, and you've been absolutely crushing it, and you're a perfect
It's
example.
Bianca's idea. It's my wife's idea.
Yeah,
And like
I love her. She's freaking awesome.
You know, I tell her like every time we're riding bikes, we like ride bikes like every day now.
Yeah.
And we've hit some pretty long ones and stuff, like 20, 30 miles.
Yeah, you went like a 30-mile bike ride the other day.
She said
you have a bike ride right now.
I do. I have one in a little bit.
Oh,
she
okay.
said she was like, did you ever think we'd be riding 30 miles on the bike together? I said, no, I did not.
Got to tell you.
She was like, she said, what? I was like, no, I did it. Like,
Got to tell you, honestly, didn't think it was going to happen. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our pilot episode of the TF Podcast, Two Coaches. If you like what you hear, drop us a like and hit subscribe, and we have a badass show ready for you next week. We're going to talk about.
This is going to be fun.
Oh my God, I'm already thoroughly enjoying it.
My hands are still sweaty.
Oh yeah, knees weak.
Shut up. I was nervous. I was nervous. Like,